Hello, my name is Ethan and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Harvest League 3.11. In this episode, we're going to be going over my new updated garden. So I'd like to obviously start this off with hello guys, how you guys doing? Welcome back. So this was the original setup we showed on the channel. This was a 99.5% efficiency setup. It has the really complex corner setup where you can grow T4s and T3s, 17 T3s and 3 T4s, all in one big setup. It's amazing, super condensed. And now this was before the patch of giving us more T2s and 3s and 4s, and then obviously the upgrade to have the Hoard Crafting bud, flower, and blossoms. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in game we got these flowers and buds and blossoms. So you would put this down in the garden. You would put these down in the garden, and they cover a 5 radius, so it's a 10 by 10, and so you could put it at the edge of a garden and it will affect the entire garden. Like for example, you put it here and then the square is gigantic. It's as big as the garden. Look, it fits all the way to the other side. It's perfect. And so now let's show our old garden. So this was our old garden, and there is no room left for these flowers and blossoms. How are you going to use them? I always use them on the higher tier T2s, 3s, and 4s. I don't use them on T1s. So in this update, I found two things. I needed more storage. I was doing higher tier gardening, way more, less T1s, so I need more space for storage in my garden, and also I need space for those flowers and blossoms and buds next to my big crafting. So what this looks really complicated and hard to like adjust, right? Because you don't know what you're doing. So instead, what I did is I pulled this up in a PoE Harvest Planner. I made this myself. Like again, I remade it in a PoE Harvest Planner, and this will look even worse. Okay, this is gonna look even more complicated because it has connections. So what I'm gonna do is this site is so amazing. So this is harvest.iw.gy. Okay, I'll leave link to both. Okay, so this is the first really cool thing I'd like to point out about this website. You can change the link hovering, so now it's showing only my wild connections. You can change this to vivid, and it shows all your vivid connections. I can actually share this with people. I can share the current plan so people can see this exact thing and play around with it in their own simulator to create their own garden, which is really cool. And we can show primal. So the biggest difference between this one and the old one is we kept most of it the same, but there's some key differences. So in the new one, I only have 2 gardens for T1s of each color, and then we farm our higher tiers up here just like normal. So I only have 2 of each for each color. So you can actually every now and then not do your tier 1s. You can let them build up, and even with 2 gardens, you're gonna have enough space in your garden to use your tier 1s, and you can plant them in the top right if you don't have higher tier seeds anyways, because this technically is still space for tier 1s when you don't have the higher tier seeds. So the other adjustment, so now we have all of these farms turned into storage. So literally what I did is, you could see this is the 5x5. So it's just storage pylon, storage pylon, storage, yeah, until it's done. So it's just 3 storage to 1 pylon repeated until you fill up the entire areas. So 1 pylon can connect to 4 storages, and then the next pylon connects to 3 new storages and 1 of the old one, easy, and then you have connections. I showed some of it here, like right here, an entire square of the 25 pylon/storages getting connected, to give an example of how you would do it up here if you like, just slight. So that, yeah, and then you can change the colors like I said. It's really cool. So I showed the connections all the way up to connecting the gardens to the high tier setup. I didn't show adding all the extra because I thought it was a little tedious, whereas here, yeah, just connected up the garden, left all of this extra storage for you to connect or get whenever you want. It doesn't really matter. So basically the obvious thing here is that the top right is the priority. This is what you want to set up. You need the dispersers, so there's 26 total dispersers. 12 collectors. I put some Hoard Crafting right here just to show where you could put it, but also you could just take out some of this storage because you have so much storage. Technically, some of it could be dedicated to Hoard Crafting for purple, Hoard Crafting for yellow, Hoard Crafting for blue, whatever. It's super easy. Just fit in more Hoard Crafters if you want them instead of storage. And in storage, we have 160 of every tank, so this is 48,000 storage of each life force. And the pylons, it's 60 something. So this is the setup, and the biggest changes is to the top right. If you notice right here, there is 2 S's, 2 S's, 2 S's, 2 S's, 2 S's, 2 S's. So basically I noticed in between every garden in the top right is this space. So what the hell is an E3, right? You probably you're now noticing this because I pointed it out. And so on this planner, we can also put down flowers, buds, and blossoms. So an E3 of red is the life force blossom. An E3 of this gray one is the fortune, and then you have the green one, which is Hoard Crafting blossom. And I just showed that there's these open spaces in between the gardens, and then this one in the corner covers the entire garden, the whole 5x5 of all the T4s and 3s in that whole collect. Super fucking amazing. I love this. This is sick. And actually, you could even put it on the outside here. You could put it down here, then have the other ones up here or in between the middle here, like this, where you have it on the outside of the farm and it'll cover the whole farm. You could put them just in the middle here, and that'll also work. Like oh my god, we have 4 space per garden. It's ridiculous, and so you don't have to ever tear up your garden to put down the blossoms ever again. Now you have the space in between. You don't, and I showed the connections, so you don't need those storage tanks to make the connections. I've made it work without it, showing how to get the connections out from the big thing out to the normal gardens to the actual storage. And same thing, blue, regular thing, pulled, got all this, and it came out through here and goes through its little thing. And we have the wild, where it does its whole thing. It can come down and come from up here. Came from 2 spots, so this whole section down here isn't going to be connected to the collectors. This is just for the extra Hoard Crafting and extra storage over here. And then all of this storage, ridiculous, but it shows 2 connections out here. You could change it up a little bit, but this is just how I pulled the connections. And the fact that I could actually show my connections in a planner and link this to people, and then they can play with it too, and they can adjust through the different connections. Oh my god, this is amazing, dude. And then they could theory craft. They could literally like play around with this thing just like I did with my base. They have my planned garden now, and they can fuck with it, and it's great. This took me a while. I'm sure you realize how long this actually took to put together the entire thing. I basically rebuilt the entire garden again and then edited it to actually fit the new shit, and adjusted for what we're actually doing in the game, and adjusted for how many T1 seeds we get. And then if you actually look at each individual one, if you're getting confused with the connections because there's too many, you can actually you could delete the link filtering, or you could go like wild and then select the yellows and see what connections I did. For example, like this didn't connect all that up. This one, so this would need a connection here to connect to that. See how that works? And then this one connected to these 4, and then this one connected to that one to connect to that, and it's pretty cool. Connections are probably the most ridiculous part about this, so the fact that it's included is amazing. I hope this will be helpful for a lot of you out there. People might ask about this one square. This square is a bug. On the regular planner, it's a dead square. On this one, I don't know what the fuck. So I just left it alone because that would be stupid to try to say to put something there and then it's not actually a thing. And then I was also thinking, dude, we can fit 4 more tanks in this build if we just fill in these 4 spots. But honestly, I'd rather leave them open so that I could place the blossoms and the flowers and not worry about it. And it'll be a way higher quality of life. And now my higher tier gardens are just going to always be better. They're just going to be the best they can ever be, and my garden will feel way better now. The only last part that's going to be really annoying is currently I placed my Hoard Crafting for the blue down here, my extra Hoard Crafting, and when you stand right here, You can't place Hoard Crafters. You can't place pylons. You can't right-click them. I'll show you in-game. So if you grab your stuff, you grab your Hoard Crafter. So right here, I can summon a Hoard Crafter, right? When you come down here, come up here, it works again. Come down here. And so where I put these Hoard Crafters is really unfortunate because to place them, you have to have this spot on screen, and then you have to be able to click it, yeah. Where a lot of these spots are dead spots, and so you have to keep this on screen while, it's like, imagine you come up here and now it's really awkward. So I'm going to be moving this eventually, or soon, whenever it annoys me more. And I put my yellows here in game, and I put the purple up in this corner. And so it's pretty much exactly as I showed in the planner though, because it's just tons of storage. I'll actually, so you see the top left, let me show this again. Top left is just storage. Watch this. It's a little bit messier in game because you don't have to do it perfectly. It really doesn't matter. Once you set up all this storage, it just is here. And so however I did my pylons in storage, it doesn't matter as long as it's 3 extra storage tanks every pylon I add. It's pretty sick. And either way, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope this harvest planner helps a lot of people with their garden. Maybe this will be the little step that allows more people to get into harvest that didn't want to because it was just too messed up. And now this little extra planner for them to be able to troll around with it, or just be able to more easily see what's happening with all the connections and stuff, then that's great. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the support. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to see you guys in today's stream. I hope you guys also enjoyed the boot video today. It was a cool video. We still have to put up a belt video and make a body armor double corrupted. But one thing I wanted to mention is I've realized that you can divine targeted mods. And so I'm going to be able to make some of my stuff a little bit better where I didn't think I would be able to very easily. So yeah, I was like, oh shit, you can divine targeted mods. I didn't even realize. So like I could increase the it's pretty good on this one. My other belt probably increase the life and the life recovery and keep the crit the same without it affecting the crit, which is super cool. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the support. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!